Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Aloha Perspective, and let's just dive right in, shall we? Tomorrow is a new moon, or a full moon, excuse me. Tomorrow, is a full moon in Pisces. So I have pulled 4 cards. I'm going to read 2 of them today, the full moon in Pisces and the blue moon. And then tomorrow I will read the full moon and the super moon. Okay, so I'm doing it because the full moon usually runs in 3-day cycles. The first day, the full moon, and then, you know, where it's starting to wane. All right. So the reason I want to read it today is to give some people a little bit of a jump start. Excuse me, into tomorrow. I kind of downed my protein shake really fast, but to kind of give everyone a jump start into tomorrow. So the full moon in Pisces. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. Today is also day number 19 of body mindfulness, and today's word of the day is power. So we're gonna dive right into that right after this, okay? So right after these messages. So balance, spirituality, and practicality. Oh, I see. So balance your spirituality and your practicality. Oh, I'm goofy. But anyways, and yeah, that coffee I had yesterday was decaf, so I was just rolling on a yay. So, all right. Have you been so head in the clouds that you've lost touch with reality? If so, take this card as a sign that you need to pay attention and make a concerted effort to move towards your goals. The more practical steps you can take, the better. It's time to find an inner balance between your responsibilities and your dreams. Meditate on your question, and the solutions to your issue may now come through very clearly. If you're in a tricky situation because you've been acting the martyr, this card will be a message from the cosmos to drop the act for everyone's sake. Attune to the moon. Meditate every day and see what comes to you. Answers will come. Additional meanings for this card. You're in a super romantic but not super realistic state. So, you know, the Pisces is kind of the dreamy one, right? The Pisces is known as the dreamy, you know, kind of zen, really, sign. So yeah, I can, you know, I'm not going to totally agree with all this stuff, and I'll tell you why in a second. So follow your intuition. It won't let you down. At worst, this card can herald the end of a dream. The person you're inquiring about is a soulmate. Avoid substance abuse. Really? Avoid substance abuse? Because, you know, people don't already know that, right? I know, I'm sorry. I know some people do. But it's hard. It's hard for them to stop, right? So, I know. I'm going to share my feelings on this one in a second. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So the full moon in Pisces symbolically marks endings. When the moon is full in Pisces, or whenever you pull this card, it's time to dive deep into your emotions. Practicality is at odds with the numinous Piscean energies that have no borders. So feel your way now. Psychic ability is heightened when the full moon is in Pisces and soulmates now connect. Aww. So it's also a time to send out your dreams to the universe, releasing your fears. Now, see, to me, I've read this one before, and to me, this contradicts itself. So it says it's time to send out your dreams to the universe, but it's also saying at worst, this card can herald the end of a dream. Make up your freaking mind, okay, Moonology? I love this deck. I really do. I love this deck. It has guided me through a lot of different things. It's kind of been a therapist in a box for me sometimes, but, you know, the whole point of this is that, you know, I know when you look in the sky, you're like, oh, the moon is dark. Oh, the moon is full. But these are symbolic of, you know, manifestations and releasing. When you have a new moon, which is a dark moon, and, you know, when the moon's not up, well, it's in the sky, but, you know, you can't see it. It means that it's waned into the dark moon, into the new moon. And when it's gone into the new moon phase, when it starts to wax into a full moon, it's setting your intentions. And, you know, over the next 2 weeks, you know, you're letting that seed grow. You set your intention at the full moon, you let it go, and you sit there and say, okay, let's see what happens. And, you know, I mean, seeds might be planted. It may not take root right away, but you've planted these seeds and you've trusted it and you've watered it for 2 weeks. And then the full moon comes along and all that stuff that you've kind of found, like maybe you're like, well, I don't understand why all this stuff is coming up while I'm trying to manifest, you know, things, or trying to set intentions for certain things. It's because this is all the icky stuff that's coming to the surface so that you can just take that top film off of there and just throw it away. And that's what the full moon is. The full moon that's going to be waning into the new moon now. The full moon that will be waning into the new moon is giving you that opportunity to let go of all the stuff that you don't need anymore. To let go of all of those feelings and those emotions that you're just circling around in and circling around and circling around and saying, I'm out. And you want to get rid of them. So this is the time. And that's what the symbolism is about. And to me, the Pisces has always kind of been, you know, you always think of that because they are the last, you know, sign. So people might say, well, why is the last sign kind of like the dreamy ones? Well, they're the dreamy ones because they've been through it all. Depending on what your beliefs are when it comes to astrology, if you believe in astrology at all, you know, some believe that every person lives through every sign. So, you know, if you meet an Aries, it's very possible this is their first time on Earth, right? And they're just going through the motions. Or maybe some of them like to relive it because Aries are pretty hardcore, you know, but they're also kind of just, you know, jump in feet first and see what happens. You know, they're just kind of like, let's do this and then deal with the consequences later. And that kind of slips into the Taurus mood and mode. Because the Taurus can be very bullheaded, but they can also be like, oh, let's just jump and see what happens. So, you know, but, you know, then you get to like Capricorn like me and we're too freaking serious. We're too freaking serious. And so, you know, this is why I think Capricorns are good for Pisces, or Pisces are good for Capricorns, because it reminds us to just kind of open our minds and go, what? You know, open and expand. And, oh, I thought I'd get a laugh from older sibling on there when I totally threw the Tauruses under the bus. But you know what? Tauruses and Capricorns get along very well. But, yeah. Oh, Capricorns, we can be a bit much sometimes, I admit. But, you know, I'm learning how to be lighthearted. I'm goofy. I'm fun. I always have been kind of goofy and fun. But there are times when I think, you know, we get a little too serious and we forget to just kind of breathe. But I like I like the end part of this card where it just says, you know, it's also time to send out your dreams to the universe, releasing your fears. And I think that's the most important part is, you know, that's the thing about the Pisces. They're not just the dreamy ones. They're the kind of easygoing ones, like just go with the flow. You know, they know how to figure their shit out. And, you know, they're kind of, I would call them like kind of the Zen sign. You know, I mean, I don't know a lot of Pisces. My aunt is a Pisces, and she's so chill. It's not even, I'm not even sure I've ever seen her get, well, I've seen her get mad, but we were kids, so I'm sure that was valid. When my cousins and I were young. So I'm sure that was legit. Like, please don't die on my watch, you know, especially when your sister's kid is visiting you from a whole another state. So, from the mainland. But, yeah, so I'm sure we deserved it. Oh, hooligans. That's the word. You know what? Sibling and I were talking the other day, and I was like, there's a word that I cannot think of. And it was, I think, or maybe I did say hooligans, but it just didn't sound right at the time. So anyways, that's but, you know, just take this card. Balance your spirituality and your practicality. Okay? Just because it's a full moon doesn't mean that your dreams are over. But what I think it could mean is pivot. If you're struggling to get to that dream and it's still really in your heart, it's what you wake up for every morning, pivot a little, because maybe the path you're on isn't the path you need to be on. Maybe it's the same dream, but it might be a different path. Okay? Excuse me. Good Lord. That's the last time I gulped down a protein shake. Holy moly. So, I know. I drink one in the morning because I'm terrible at eating breakfast. So yeah, you know, and again, so follow your intuition. It won't let you down. This person you're inquiring about is a soulmate. Avoid substance abuse. Just say no. I know. I need to take this more seriously. And I'm trying, but it's just kind of like, seriously? Anyway. Anyway, so yeah, let's do the blue moon and then we'll jump into body mindfulness. Oh, now see, this is what's funny. We get the Pisces card, right? You know, balance your spirituality and practicality. And the blue moon, believe in the impossible. So for those who don't understand what a blue moon is, I know it looks like a blue moon in here. A blue moon is when you get 2 full moons in the same calendar month. So, yeah, I tripped over that one yesterday. I was like, it was like the same month. And I'm like, no, I need to be more specific. So in the same calendar month. So we had a full moon at the beginning of August. We had a full moon at the beginning of August. We have a full moon at the end of August. Okay, because tomorrow's the 30th. So because of that, because of where they both landed, and I think the full moon was on the 1st. So, you know, the chances of us getting a blue moon was a really good one. In fact, I was super excited when I found out because I'm like, wait, does that mean we're going to have a blue moon this year? So, yeah, they're not super rare, but they're rare because, you know, I mean, it's hard to get 2 full moons in 1 month. Sometimes it ends up being where it's like, you know, you'll have the full moon on, say, I mean, just saying August 3rd, right? And then all of a sudden it's like September 1st and it's the full moon again. So in this case, the blue moon is because it landed 2 moons in 1 month, or 2 full moons in 1 calendar month. So, as the saying goes, some things only happen once in a blue moon. In other words, hardly ever. Oh, here we go. I'm so sorry. Good Lord. Even older sibling says, you're talking like me. I am all over the place today. I'm telling you, I did not sleep that well last night. But so please bear with me. I am so sorry. I do not know what's happening to me right now. My brain is just going a mile a minute. So again, as the saying goes, some things happen only once in a blue moon. In other words, hardly ever. Drawing this card suggests you're about to get a rare chance at something oh, sorry. Oh, FFS. Thank you, older sibling. She blessed me. Drawing this card suggests you're about to get a rare chance and that something one-off could well be about to happen. Ooh. And the other one was, you know, this person you're inquiring about is your soulmate. That's exciting. That, well, probably for somebody, because I'm pretty sure they're not talking about me. But I know I'm waiting to get a shut up. So from older sibling. Anyway, but you never know. You never know. So anyways, this card is a very positive sign if you felt like you're hoping for too much or asking too much of the universe. Whatever you are asking about, well, it might only happen once in a blue moon, but it can happen. However, with this rare opportunity before you, it's important that you believe in it. If you convince yourself that whatever you're asking about can never go in your favor, then guess what? It won't go in your favor. Be grateful for this card, which is a reminder to believe in your dreams. This card literally just put me back in my place. Wow. So anyways, all right. Attuned to the moon. I'm lucky. So just say it. I'm lucky. And if you feel stupid saying it, don't. Right? Don't. You know, I know some people don't believe in manifestation. I know some people don't believe in setting intentions or trying to manifest things or praying for things. But you know what? It works. It works, but you have to believe in it. You have to have that feeling. You can't have this dull feeling inside and saying, I'm so happy, grateful for it. You have to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy and grateful for this. Have you ever noticed when you're like, oh man, I want these tickets so bad, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, poof, they're all like, you know, you get the wristband that says, hey, you can go purchase tickets ahead of time before it becomes a free-for-all. You know, I mean, I've done that a lot of times and it's like, wow, how did that happen? And this is even before I understood what the universe, the law of attraction, before I understood manifesting and praying. And well, I understood praying because I grew up praying. But see, I grew up the way I was raised is you don't pray for things, you pray for solutions. But I think God is sitting there saying, it's okay to pray for things because we all want nice things. We all want things. But I think what it entails is when you start to take advantage of that, when you start to not have appreciation for the things that you have, when you start not showing gratitude, that's when everything falls apart. That's when everything does fall apart. If you want something, you got to show gratitude for it, or it will be taken away from you. So, or if you have these little moments where you're like, yeah, what if I lose it all? And then you're like, oh, don't worry about that, okay? When, you know, don't look at money as like, oh, what am I going to do with this before I lose it all? just imagine it multiplying, all right? Because I'm saying money because that's the big thing for everybody, right? That always seems to be the big thing that everybody asks for, or love. You know, when people ask me to do readings for them, it's always about money or love. And then they don't like what you tell them because, you know, it's not like just snap your fingers and it works. That was a really good snap. But, you know, you have to believe. You have to be grateful. You have to appreciate what's coming to you. So again, attune to the moon. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. And feel it. Feel it from the bottom of your solar plexus, which we are going to talk about today in the power card from Body Mindfulness. So additional meanings for this card. Miss this chance and it might not come back anytime soon. What happened may only happen once. The person you're inquiring about is a rare find. Oh my God. And the last one was the person you're inquiring about is your soulmate. All right. If you people out there are sitting there going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Fucking reach out to these people. Okay. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. So then you'll know. And you'll know to move on. But shoot your shot, people. Shoot your shot. I wish I had the bravery to do that, but I got nowhere to shoot my shot. So, you know, maybe someone random will pop into my life. I don't know. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Like just some surprise. Hey, you know, maybe someone you've had contact with in your past or something, like even if for a brief moment. But yeah, you never know. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. When you believe in something and something is meant for you, the mountains will move. You will be able to move those mountains, or they will be able to move those mountains, or your higher powers will be able to move those mountains and stick you to where you belong. You know, and we live in the age of technology, right? I mean, it could be somebody on a completely different continent, and you're just like, oh, you know, hey, the internet's an interesting place. Baby sibling met her boo. They've been together about a year now, and he just randomly found her on Facebook. They weren't even friends. They had she popped up in his bottom things, you may know, kind of thing, because she was friends with somebody he knew. And you know, I always call Tucson the biggest little town, okay, because it's like, it's huge, but everybody seems to know each other. But yeah, and he just messaged her, and she wasn't sure about it at first, and then she messaged back finally, and here they are today. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen. Technology can be a very useful tool. It can be a wicked tool, but it can also be a very useful tool. So there you go. God, there's that protein shake again. Anyways, I'm going to stop complaining about that, because you're just going to see that probably throughout all this, because I'm talking like, you know, I'm on speed, which I promise I am not. I do not abuse substances. I'm goofy enough on my own. I don't need that kind of stuff. I do love to drink every so often though, right? I mean, nothing like, I mean, there's a lot of good drinks out there. I know I probably shouldn't be talking about this because, you know, I'm sure kids will watch this later, but I have to tell you, the other day I was watching the Kingsman Secret Service. I love Guinness. And you know, every time there's this one scene where they're in the pub and he's just drinking the Guinness, and it's just like at the beginning of the movie, and it's one of my favorite scenes. But now I'm wondering, is it one of my favorite scenes because of what happens, or because that Guinness looks really good? It speaks to my Irish side. So I think that's my claim to fame of being Irish. And yes, I am. I'm half Asian, so it's hard to tell. Anyways, I am rambling. So, let's see. The person you're inquiring about is a rare find. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. And the situation is unlikely to repeat. So now you see why I had a problem with the Pisces card. Because the Pisces card is basically amplifying this blue moon. Okay? Because they are the dreamy ones. They are the Zen ones. They are the patient ones. You know, they're the ones that are kind of like, why not? I'll shoot my shot, see what happens. If it doesn't, I'll just go back to Zen mode and keep heading on my path, right? So they'll pivot and get back on their path. So, I mean, but yeah, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. The situation is unlikely to repeat. I don't always believe in that, but I think maybe sometimes when that door opens, it may take a while for that door to reopen. So, you know, even if you're just kind of like planting that seed in your head, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. What it means is that, you know, there are certain things in life that may not be meant for you, like a job or, you know, or sometimes even people, but we don't know unless we try, right? So just take that opportunity to just see where you're at, see where you're standing. So the teaching of this card is there are usually 3 full moons between each equinox and solstice and vice versa. Sometimes, though, we get our 4 full moons in a single season. When that happens, the third of the season's 4 full moons is called a blue moon, at least. That was the original definition of a blue moon. These days, it's popular to use the blue moon for the second full moon in any calendar month that has 2 full moons. Okay, so now we got a little bit of history, right? So, 4 full moons in a season is a blue moon. So, but, of course, now we use it as the second full moon in any calendar month that has 2 full moons. So, two full moons. God, I'm a dork today. Oh, Lord. You know what? This is because I had breakfast this morning. I had that protein shake. Well, my brain is running. Anyways, take chances. Don't worry about what the moon says, what sign anything is. And if you feel like it's meant for you, just go for it, But if it isn't meant for you, pivot. Or, if you have a dream and it feels like it's not coming at you, pivot and find a new way in, find a different route, because, maybe the route you're on, like I said before, is not working. Older sibling said, at least you're not caffeinated. Can you imagine if I was caffeinated? Californians already talk fast. Apparently that's part of our accent that we have. I know, I literally don't notice an accent. I'm being honest. I mean, some parts of this country, I always tell people the United States is like 50 little countries, but some parts of this country, they have very distinct accents, like the New England states, or the East Coast, Florida and New York and the South, right? But when you start heading out west, I don't hear it. But I have heard that we talk fast. Even my dad asked me why I talk so fast. And I told him, I said, well, I grew up in California. He's like, well, I've lived here, almost my entire life. Like, no, you grew up somewhere else, though. You grew up where they talk slow. So, and not a bad thing. Sometimes I think we're running on that, what was that on the record player? Was it 78 RPMs? I know 33 and a third, I think it was the record. And then you had the 45s. But what was it, 78 that made everything sound super fast if it wasn't a 78 record? Like, blah, 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 like chipmunks. But, I do not know what's wrong with me. You know what I think it is? I just went through a week and a half of struggling to find that balance, and now that I'm in this balance, it just feels so good. It feels so good. And I also think it's because I had breakfast. So apparently it is the most important meal of the day. It gives you all that energy and chutzpah that you need. So anyways, I've rambled enough. Literally, I've been rambling for almost 30 minutes. I am so sorry. So, day 19, body mindfulness is power. Power. You are more powerful than you could imagine. This card serves as a reminder that within you lies an infinite well of power that you can source whenever you choose. Throughout our lives, we may have been given our power, throughout our lives, we may have given our power to others or had it stripped away, but we always have the ability to call it back. So again, you are more powerful than you can imagine. This card serves as a reminder that within you lies an infinite well of power that you can source whenever you choose. Throughout our lives, we may have given our power to others or had it stripped away, but we always have the ability to call it back. I'm a recovering people pleaser, I admit. And, I know we use that recovery word a little bit much, right? But people pleasing is not the best mental health trait. It is a sign of us basically giving our power to other people and feeling like we're low and worthless when, they take it and run with it, right? It's like being given something very special and precious, and you don't show any respect or gratitude for it, and then you lose it. But it's at the cost of the person who's also the people pleaser, because then they either lose their trust or they try harder, and it doesn't work. I mean, if something is not working, you have to decide, are you going to set that boundary or are you going to walk away? Because those are the only two choices you have, because that's how you get your power back. Don't give anyone your power that doesn't deserve it. Actually, really, nobody deserves your power. It's your power. You can share it with other people, but don't just freely give it to other people. This is a big thing about body mindfulness. You're like, what does this have to do with mindfulness? It has everything to do with mindfulness, because it all falls under the term, that one quote I'm always telling you about: what other people think of you is none of your business. What other people think of you is none of your business. When we make it our business and try to figure out why somebody doesn't like us, we're giving them our power. We're losing our power to them because we're struggling so hard to make somebody notice us. We're struggling so hard to make someone see us. And we're giving them that power. We're losing that because we're putting our entire worth in somebody else's hands. And you deserve better than that. You deserve to live the life that you want to live. You deserve to be this powerful, magnificent, amazing human being, no matter what size you are. No matter who puts you down. I would say that the majority of the time when somebody's putting you down, it's coming from a place of insecurity. It's coming from, and they may not seem insecure because maybe they jump off the handle or fly off the handle and get all angry or this, that, or the other. That comes from a lack of their own power. That comes from not being able to see who they are, or being uncomfortable in their skin, or maybe there's trauma in there and it's all this icky stuff boiling up from the bottom that's just spewing out like, radioactive sewage and vomit, but that's their problem. And until they ask for help, until they, surrender to their own, inability to be more calm, they're going to keep trying to steal everyone else's power. They're going to keep trying to make themselves the most important person, because that's the only way they know how to do it. Sometimes I think that's why people bully people, because they're so insecure and they're so angry with their own lives that they need control over somebody who's weaker. Sometimes the bully is bullied at home. Sometimes the bully is bullied outside of school. We don't know. And sometimes the bullies are just assholes. So if that's the case, just walk away. Don't give them your power. Being a bully isn't always picking. God, I don't know why my nose is so itchy. Being the bully isn't always just, beating someone up, right? It can be about making fun of somebody or trying to tear them down. Don't let other people take your power. Because again, what's the saying? What other people think of you is none of your business. The one person whose opinion you need to worry about is yours. And if you're giving your power to somebody else, there's a very big chance that you are not doing that. There's a very big chance you're not doing that. Okay, so take your power back. Now, this one actually comes with an exercise, and I'm going to read this slow, and let's see if we can do this exercise together. Okay, so the last time, I think it didn't work because I was trying to do the exercise with you, but I did this last night, and I'm not sure I came up with anything because my brain went in a whole different direction and started doing some shadow work, or maybe it led to that. So, but anyways, get comfortable, and you can lay down, you can sit in your meditation position, whatever is comfortable for you. Okay, if you're sitting at a desk and maybe you have the volume turned down but you're doing work, right? Just even if you're doing your work, just try to just take a couple deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe into like the pit of your stomach and release. Exhale slowly. Just try to calm your mind down. Okay, just try to calm your brain down and just kind of get into that nice little mellow place. All right, so sit or lay quietly for a moment and focus on your breath. So again, breathe in and exhale. Breathe in And exhale. So a lot of times they'll say breathe in, hold, and then exhale. Just hold for a moment. Okay, so breathe in one more time. And breathe out all the noise in your head. Begin to bring awareness to your solar plexus, which is basically your belly area, right? It's your upper abdomen. So begin to bring awareness to your solar plexus. This is your this is your power center. Imagine you are sitting inside of it. How does it feel? Do you feel lots of energy here, or does it feel stagnant? Imagine there is a glowing seed in the pit of your stomach. This is your power. Now imagine holding it and watching it grow. Feel what messages it has for you. What does it need from you? Continue to come back to nurture your power. So this is how you can sit down and nurture your power. My friend sent me a really good TikTok the other day, and I apologize because I don't know who posted it originally, but they talked about breathing in, and they did the exercises of breathing in, holding it, breathing out, and then clearing your mind. And then it just said sit with the quiet for a moment, and then just say, what's on my mind? In your, to yourself in your head, what's on my mind? And it's kind of to tell you where you're at. So if something negative comes up, it's letting you know where you're at. If something positive comes up, obviously it's letting you know where you're at. But if it's something negative, it's giving you the opportunity to fix this. Why is this negative feeling coming up? Why is this negative thing coming up? So, I guess the reason I was yammering on like a crazy person earlier, sorry, no pun intended, I haven't dinged up mental health, but that's still no excuse, yammering on like a goofball earlier, was because I was excited about those cards, right? I mean, those cards are super exciting. But now that we're here and I did those deep breaths, all of a sudden I feel like, whew, I'm balanced again. So, and it could be that the full moon kind of ramps me up. A lot of people say it drains them, but it ramps me up. The new moons actually drain me. But I'm going to read this first part again. You are more powerful than you can imagine. You are more powerful than you can imagine. Let go of those limiting beliefs. Let go of those inherited patterns. Let go of that generational trauma. And now when people say generational trauma, they're thinking, oh, but I didn't have a bad childhood. No, maybe you didn't. But there might have been limiting beliefs within there. Like dieting, or having to look this way, or doing this, that, or the other for somebody else, or maybe you can't be this way because our beliefs don't allow us to do that, or maybe you can't be this way because we've never done that in this family before. Those are generational traumas. You can have the best childhood in the world, but there are sometimes going to be those limited beliefs. I get along very well with my parents. Well, my mom's passed away, but I got along very well with both of my parents. And my dad and I get along, but there's a lot of things we do not agree on. And, when I was in my people-pleasing phase, I used to just kind of go with whatever everybody else was thinking and just be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. But I didn't have a voice because I didn't want to be the one that was stirring the pot, right? You just kind of go along because you don't want everyone ganging up on you. And, God, I get that enough as a sports fan, right? I mean, when you follow teams that don't do all that great, everybody comes down on you. But, it just shows my dedication. But after a while, it's kind of like, no, we learned a very, very good term that I think all families should have, and all people should carry as a kind of a negotiation tool. Have it in their tool belt of emotions, but, and quotes, let's agree to disagree. And that's kind of saved us from a lot of unnecessary arguing over our own beliefs. But yeah, I mean, even just yesterday, he's like, yeah, I don't believe in that manifestation crap. And it's like, okay, you don't have to. That's up to you. But, we are, filled with limited beliefs. We do inherit limited beliefs. Like I said, sometimes, there's the generation before mine was, really kind of following the status quo. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how they were raised. That's what they knew. That's what they knew. But, then you have, every so often, you get that one decade of generation, right? Where like one decade where the two generations meet and everything kind of just expands. You pivot. We pivot as people, as countries. And, it kind of breaks, it gives us that break in between where, there's a certain type of thinking, and then the younger ones of those generations are kind of like, yeah, let's go this way, and it becomes more and more where, what you're doing is you're pivoting. And these old traditions and old beliefs, people are starting to break those generational traumas. Now, I'm not really sure that generational trauma should be the word for it in all situations, because trauma is a pretty heavy word, or especially nowadays, right? Trauma is a huge and heavy word. But maybe those generational patterns, we start to break those generational patterns, and when we do that, we take our power back. We say, you know what, I like living my life the way I live it, and this is how I'm going to live it. Maybe it doesn't fit into your standards, maybe it doesn't fit into society's standards, but I like it. And this is where I feel free, and this is where I roam. I'm not encouraging people to not follow the law. Please follow the law, all right? What I'm talking about is spiritually minded. A lot of us grew up in traditional, families with traditional spiritual beliefs. And I did, and I was raised that way. But as I got older and I started to read a lot more, and I started kind of diving into books I don't normally dive into, I started to see a pattern in myself that I didn't like. And I started to see a pattern in my life that wasn't working for me. And I shifted spiritually. I shifted big time spiritually. And I opened up my mind to the possibility of a lot more than I was raised with. Opening your mind to what else is out there. And I grew up in a split religious household. My father's an agnostic. My mother was a Catholic. And my father would just tell me, question everything. And my mom hated that so much. But it taught me how to take my power back. And that's what's important. I mean, this is why I'm rambling to some. But when you really stop and think about it, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about, getting out there, talking about what we believe in. You can't force your beliefs on other people. If we don't want people forcing their, religious beliefs on us, you can't force your own spiritual beliefs on other people. If people are going to listen, they're going to listen. Speak your truth, but don't force people, like, well, yeah, but this is how it is. And I made that mistake for a while. It's kind of like, yeah, but you don't understand. It's like, you know what? Not everybody's ready to be where you're at. And maybe they feel like you're not ready to be where they're at, but they want you to be where they're at. So you just have to maintain your power, and you can pick and choose. If you don't want to say anything, just don't. I had a conversation on the 4th of July that, I didn't necessarily agree with, but I held my tongue. It wasn't the place. It wasn't the time. I was a guest, and I held my tongue. And it's okay, because, it's not that I didn't fight for what I believed in. It's because it was not being rude. Don't be rude. Okay. You don't need to be rude to believe in your stuff. Your stuff is your stuff. So, take your power back and, do the exercise. I will put the exercise, I'll type it into the comments on Facebook, and I'll type it into the comments on YouTube so that you can go through it yourself. Or you can go back through. I know, I kind of messed that up, right? So you know what? Let me do it one last time. So that if you want to, you can come back to the end of this video and just kind of be walked through this, all right? So sit or lay quietly for a moment and focus on your breath. So again, breathe in, hold, and exhale. So breathe in the peace. Hold that thought in your for the moment, and exhale all the negative stuff out. Breathe in the peace again. Hold it. And then exhale all the chitter chatter and all the noise in your head. And one last time, breathe in. Hold it. and exhale and just relax. Begin to bring awareness to your solar plexus. This is your power center. Imagine you are sitting inside of it. How does it feel? Do you feel lots of energy here? Or does it feel stagnant? Imagine there is a glowing seed in the pit of your stomach. This is your power. Now imagine holding it and watching it grow. Feel what messages it has for you. What does it need from you? And when you're done, you can open your eyes. And, I highly suggest journaling what you saw. This is something that I think we can just do on our own without being guided through it. Your power center is basically right here. The solar plexus is basically at the top of your belly and right between, sort of like between-ish the stomach and the belly area, but it's mostly in here. Your solar plexus is here. Okay, it's one of your chakras. It's a great one. It's the third one, I believe. There's the root, the sacral, and then the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is your power center. It's where your sunshine comes from. It's where your positive stuff comes from. It's where all that energy comes from. It's your core. It's really your core. Then, of course, the next one's the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. So, but your solar plexus is... it is the power center. It's the true power center. Think of it as being like the electrical grid in, the neighborhood that is your body. So it's powering you. And when you're feeling low or you're feeling kind of blah, meditate, kind of try to balance that solar plexus chakra and get it spinning again, get all the wheels spinning. The 7 chakras are not your only chakras. They're the main ones, I believe, but they're not your only ones. I can't speak to the other ones because I'm not fully knowledgeable about chakras. I know about mine. I was excited to find out that there's like a ton of other ones that I want to read about. But I know for some people it's like, this is hooey. But I know, right? I'm coming up with all these old words. Hooey. It's hooey. But, for some it is. And that's okay. But if you do believe in this, then, balance it. If you don't believe in it, it's still a good thing to think about. Just go to your heart center. If you don't believe in the solar plexus, just go to your heart center, because we all have one of those, right? Where it's where your kindness comes from, where your peace comes from. And feel a way to gain your power back, to take your power back. Sometimes, we get so beaten down in life that we become so timid and we just hand out our power to anybody. And then we lose ourselves, and then we get upset at ourselves, we get angry at ourselves, and we don't think we're enough, we don't think we're worth it, we lose respect for ourselves, and that's not good, obviously. That's not good. That's terrible. You should be your number one fan. You should be the person that, you wake up for every morning. Sure, there's wonderful things. Oh yeah, this person, I get up for you every morning. But you need to get up for yourself first. Even if you have kids, you have to get up for you first. You can live your life for your children. You can live your life for your family. You can live your life for your loved ones or your friends. But you have to live it for you first. That's not selfish. That's self-care. And it's necessary. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. The minute you start trying to pour from an empty cup, you are people-pleasing. You are looking to fill your cup with other people's joys. Do you get joy from doing things for people? Yeah, sure. And that probably fills up your cup. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the bonus feeling, right? That's that bonus tea bag that you get. Maybe someone drops 3 tea bags on the tea you ordered instead of 2. And you're like, oh yeah, look at that. And then they bring you more water saying, hey, I see you today. You look like that person that just deserves that 3rd cup of tea. So, whatever. We're the 3rd cup. Well, we have free refills on coffee here, but you know what I'm saying. So the point is, let it come from here first. Pour from a full cup. Pour from your own happiness. Pour from the joy you bring yourself. Maybe, again, it's in the things that you do for people, but you can't just do things for people and live off of that joy. You have to find a way for self-love, self-care, body mindfulness, all those wonderful things. Body mindfulness leads for some people to self-worth, to self-respect. We get it a lot where people sit there and go, oh, look at that person walking by. But it goes both ways. You might have some plus size people sitting at a table making fun of the skinny people, and the skinny people are sitting there quietly making fun of the plus size people. And that's bullshit. That is terrible. Mind your own business. What other people think of you is none of your business, but that doesn't mean you can go off and spout off about other people either. Okay? Your business is your business. Somebody else's business is none of your business. Unless they bring it to you, unless they make it your business. And sometimes people won't do that because they're embarrassed, or maybe there's something they don't want to share, or maybe they feel like they're going to get judged. But, what is it when they say you point a finger, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you? We have to be better. We have to be kinder to one another. Body mindfulness goes 2 ways. It does not go one way. It does not belong to a certain group. Body mindfulness, body positivity, body negativity, it doesn't give a shit what you look like. It doesn't. Body negativity, it doesn't care. It's a big middle finger to you because it's winning. It's taken your power, and you need to take your power back. That is your choice. You get to make that decision. Body positivity, sometimes it can go askew. That's why I changed this to body mindfulness, because it's about loving who you are, who you see in the mirror at this moment, when you walk out of that room, when you put your phone down, after you watch this video, every time you see your reflection, it's about loving that person, not putting that person down. Like I said, if you want to change something, change it. Change it, but do it for the right reasons so it works. Diets don't work because people do it for the wrong reasons. I mean, if somebody's doing it to fit into a dress on their wedding day, hey, that's probably just their thing. Okay, everybody wants to look their best on whatever important special day, whether it's an event or an award show or a wedding, or maybe you're going to a wedding and or a high school reunion, right? But when you are a certain weight and you want to diet because, you're like, well, everybody says I'm this or everybody says I'm that, it's not going to work unless you do it for you. It's like quitting substance abuse, right? It's like quitting a habit. It only works when you do it for yourself. And I've seen that not just in me, but I've seen that in everybody else. So like I said, if you want to change yourself, but do it for you. Do it for you. But this isn't about the health aspect of body mindfulness. This is about teaching ourselves how to take our power back and love who we see in that reflection every time we pass it in that moment. Okay? So, I hope, now that you got your mommy scolding, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. Tomorrow's Self-Care Wednesday, but it will also be day number 20 of body mindfulness. Ooh, tomorrow's going to be a good one. Compassion. So we'll do a little bit of self-care. I'll read the other 2 cards, the super moon and the full moon cards. You got your Pisces ones. You know what? I'll put those in the comments. So I can't put them in the comments on YouTube because I can't get the pictures in there. But if you want to, you can come to the Facebook page and you can see it there. All lives are public. You don't need to be friends with me. You can just type in my name, Shelly Marie Lucas, and it'll be there. Or you can go to my Facebook page, the Aloha Perspective, and I do share this video there, so it will be in the comments there as well. So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Time, Facebook Live. Again, all lives are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. Anybody can watch. I also upload these to YouTube. Again, as I mentioned before, I share them to my Facebook page, the Aloha Perspective. And for those of you who want a shorter version, which will not include the cards, obviously, for today or tomorrow, I also do a a short TikTok version where I just cover today's subject. And sometimes it's worth watching that one because I came up with a couple of gems yesterday in the short version. So a couple of new gems. But and just so you know, I also tell people, hey, watch this one for the longer version. So again, yeah, and that's also under the Aloha Perspective. Have a great, great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.